There are so many things you could have taken away from Saturday. What was the biggest? What was the most important? 35-point win.
Yeah. That, and I said it earlier in the show, and I'll say it again now, that I didn't think State played hair on fire, just its absolute best basketball. I felt like they played really well, but State can play better than they played on Saturday. And if I'm an opposing coach, that worries me because you're like, gosh, that team won by 35, and I don't know that they were, playing their absolute best basketball. State shares the basketball so well. They don't turn it over. The rebounding, an issue we thought might exist prior to the season, has not really materialized. State is doing fine on the boards. I think having bigger guards like Kugel and Melendez and Harris helping that. Harris had 9 rebounds to go with 17 points on Saturday. And they just have so much depth as far as scoring goes. I feel like last year, if you could limit Tolu and limit Hubbard, you were going to beat Mississippi State. This year, even if you limit Hubbard, there's 5-6 guys on that roster that can go out and get you double figures. And you saw that this week. 4 guys. You had Harris, Murphy, Hubbard, and Kugel all in double figures, and Matthews just on the verge of it. So I was really, really impressed with this Mississippi State performance. I don't know that it was their best game of the year. I thought the game against Pitt, they played better overall. But if they can play like that throughout conference play, if they can keep that level of play, they're going to be very, very tough to beat.
Yeah, when you win by 35, like if you just said, hey, that team won by 35, my response would be, oh, wow, they must have shot like 70% from 3. They must have just made every single shot that they took. And nope.
And they shot the ball well, don't get me wrong, but yeah, they just, first off, they just dominate defensively.
Yeah.
Only gave up 29% shooting. 10 steals, 10 blocks. I mean, they just controlled the game from the opening tip, and they never, ever were in doubt.
They went out and they kicked Heine on Saturday, and that's a good radio word.
It is. It is.
They gave up one.
I could be crass on multiple levels, and I won't. I'll just go with kick Heine.
I saw a bunch of tweets that belt to something. I'll put it that way.
BTA, yeah.
BTA.
I mean, what is it? 1 made 2-point basket per minute and 5 seconds, or minute and 2 seconds, or something like that.
It was something. I'm
not a math guy, but it's something like that.
Yeah, the analytics might be a little bit above me. I just know that I watched Mississippi State take the opening bucket and never trail. And once it got into double digits, it stayed there. And once it got to 20, it stayed there. And then it eventually gets to 30, and you end up winning by 35.
How's the crowd? Looks good.
Really good, considering no students in town. They obviously sold some student section tickets as like general admission. I would say probably 7,500 or so.
Yeah.
I didn't see the actual number, but I mean, outside of the upper deck of the student section, the lower bowl was very full, and most of the upper deck was full as well.